Hey everybody, Big Rove here, and this is a video talking about what permanent rank 1s are open on Ultimate Iron Man. And this essentially means what skills no longer have, or don't yet have someone who has 200 mil in the skill left. And if you're the first person to get 200 mil, many of you know you will hold that 200 mil forever, and that is a significant thing. This number on the screen right now, 186,965,569, is the amount of experience needed to get from level 99 to 200 mil. And in this video I will be assuming that this is the experience required, and I will assume that you have started at 99. One disclaimer I do want to provide is that some of you will not agree with the rates that I choose in this video. Some of the rates some people may say are too high, some people may say are too low, and often many of the rates people will be on both ends of that spectrum. If you want to do your own math, take whatever rate you think is possible at 99 to maintain and divide 186 mil by that rate, and that's how long it will take you to get that skill. I'm going to provide rates that I believe are accurate, though many will not. The first skill we're going to talk about is woodcutting. By the time this video is out, unfortunately, the rank 1 for 200 mil will probably be taken. It is currently held by a man named Hapag Lloyd, and here are his stats. He is probably going to get 200 mil this Thursday. I'm recording this on Tuesday, and I don't know when this video will be out, but I can say that this man has done almost all of it at Redwoods and on mobile. Actually, all of it at Redwoods sets 90, and almost all of it on mobile. He is a tank. He's a really nice guy, and he is about to have 200 mil and says he's going to move on to mining next. If you wanted to beat him to 200 mil, your first option would be Teaks, and your second option would be Redwoods. There's two ways to do Teaks. You can do them 1.5 tick at Fossil Island for 200k XP per hour, and that would take about 934 hours. And the second option would be 2 tick Teaks, and at about 180k XP per hour, that would take about 1038 hours. And Redwoods, your third option would be Super AFK, but at 65k XP per hour, it would take you just under 3,000 hours to get 200 mil. And all of this is assuming you have a Dragon Axe. The next skill that we're going to talk about is Prayer. The Prayer skill cape in 200 mil rank 1 is still open. It may be of no surprise to you that it's still open, but what may be surprising is how low rank 1 currently is. A ladybug is currently at first in rank 1 with just over 30 mil as of recording this, and one thing to note is that this person has done it all at pest control while trying to get 200 mil or as close to it without getting any other 99, which would be an untrimmed 200 mil cape, which is quite impressive. The two known and tested options are Myths Guild Green Dragons and Pest Control, which are generally what we think of. Pest Control can be about 31k XP per hour, which would require 6,031 hours to get 200 mil, but would provide you with 204 mil GP from the reward. Myths Guild Dragons being about 40k XP per hour, rather untested method, but this is the number that I'm being told is fairly accurate, would take about 4,674 hours, so at 10 hours a day, that's 467 days, but you could also benefit from the other drops from the Green Dragons. Now on to Fletching. The rank 1 in Fletching is currently Jamuli, holding 66 million experience, and I asked him to make a comment about it, and he said he has ran out of money and he's no longer working on that, and he is not racing to 200 mil. The only really viable method I can think of is making broad arrows, which is commonly known. You can get about 190k XP per hour making broad arrows, and this is assuming the time it takes to buy the feathers and to buy the arrowheads and to buy the shafts, and assuming that you are going to be making some arrows while hopping and buying the materials to make it. This will cost you a bit over 1 bill at 5.5 GP per XP, which I've been told several times is accurate, and it's going to take you about 984 hours. The time itself is not bad, but if you have an extra 1 bill GP laying around on your Ultimate Iron Man, that's interesting to me. So making the money for it would make this 200 mil take a lot longer. The next 200 mil is Magic. Magic is still open. The current rank 1 is Doggo at 64 mil with a few in contention, and most of them from PVMing, I believe. There's two main ways I could think to get this, and that would be bursting Maniacal Monkeys or doing the Zia Library method, which actually has been botted, and I do not suggest botting it. Absolutely not. Bursting maniacal monkeys can be up to about 200 kxp per hour, maybe a little bit more if you're very efficient at it, but at 200 kxp per hour it would be about 934 hours, but it would cost about 870 mil, and again, that's a lot of money. The Zeal library, on the other hand, does not cost anything but some staminas, or even you could do it without staminas for lower XP per hour. Now, 185 kxp per hour would only take 1011 hours, and so if you had some extra staminas, that would be a good method if you didn't have money and you really wanted to get 200 mil first. No surprise to many of you, 200 mil mining is still open. Currently, Thunderite is in the lead with 42 mil mining, and he's done that all pet hunting without the pets still. And Min-Level Skill and Disciple are second and third, and they're free to play. If you didn't know, in the free to play EHP world, mining is 0 time, and so they've done this in the midst of other skills, and maybe they focused on it a little bit, and they are second and third even amongst other members. The four methods you could do are 3-tick 4G, you could do blast mining, you could do amethyst mining, and you could also do motherlode mine. And there's also volcanic mine, but I won't be mentioning that one today. I just don't think it's that viable on an ultimate, and at the same time I don't know very much about it. But about the ones that I do know, there's granite, 3-tick granite at the 123 kxp per hour, which is what is listed on CML. It would take 15-20 hours with virtually no requirements, and as far as I know, if you 3-tick, you could use a bronze pickaxe and it would be just as good as a dragon pickaxe at 99. Blast mining at 70k XP per hour would take 2,670 hours, and a bonus, if you used all the ores that you got, you would make about 1.3 bill. And now it would take a whole long time to use all the ores, but you could use all the ores for 1.3 bill. And the other two options would be amethyst mining and motherlode mine. They are both super AFK. At 20k and 40k XP per hour, it would take about 9,000 hours and 4,500 hours to get 200 mil from 99. Next up is crafting. Crafting has no 200 mil. The top one is Kepi, who has stopped playing for the most part, and the next people are way behind, honestly. This is simple. The only way I can think to do it very efficiently is charters. Charters can be between 90 and 95 kxp per hour, which would make it between 1968 to 2077 hours. A bonus would be about 20 mil magic, and the cost, as far as I'm told, would be about 200 mil at about 1 GP per XP. Next is the skill that no one can agree about the XP rate on, and that's smithing. LDV is rank 1, and he actually did all of his smithing XP fixing the water wheels at Motherlode Mine before there was a hop limit. For ultimates, there would be two main strategies, and that would be using gold ore at Blast Furnace or using mithril plates at Blast Furnace, and both good for their own reasons. Now, because no one completely agrees on the XP rate for these, I've listed several. For gold, 220k, 240k, and 300k. I have people who believe that all are sustainable. You know, some who believe 300k is sustainable, some who believe only 220k is sustainable, and some who believe 240k, which I believe is the EHP rate for irons now. And so I've listed all of them. That's just how I'm going to do it. So it would take between 850 and to 623 hours, and you can see the values on the screen. And the cost would be about 1.1 to 1.5 bill, and that's assuming about 6 to 8 GP per XP, which I've found to be the average long term. And for mithril plates, you can get between 120 kxp per hour and 140 kxp per hour average. I've averaged these doing two different methods. The higher method is actually about 0.5 GP per XP, so with a 50 to 100 mil cost, it would be a few less hours. In the lower one, well, at 120 kxp per hour, you actually gain a little bit of experience. One thing I need to note that you may have noticed is the 120 kxp per hour says 1335 hours, but it should say 1558 hours, and the 140k experience should say 1335 hours. So if you just flip those two values, then you have truly how long it would take at those experience rates. Next is construction, and this one is also rather contentious when we talk about the XP rates. First right now is Jamuli, who says he's no longer going to be actively working on it. The two methods I could think to do would be limestone and teak planks. There is a third possible method, and that would be oak larders, but the XP per hour for that is significantly less than these. and so I don't think it would be worth it. Limestone is about 70k XP per hour. You can get a little bit more, and at a cost of about 3.4 GP per XP, that would be about 635 mil and take about 2,670 hours, man. And Teaks is a rather untested method, but we're talking about Fossil Island Teaks here. And with 1.5 tick, we've seen rates already of over 80k XP per hour, and you would also get 120 mil woodcutting XP for this, and it would take about 934 mil, so more than limestone, but it also would be faster. And just to note, doing teaks at an AFK rate would still give you more experience than oak larders, which is why I chose not to put on oak larders. We've come to the last 3 skills without 200 mils, and I need to give you a disclaimer. These ones are really hard to decide. Farming, Slayer, and Herblore, I think just about no one right now will agree on the XP rates for these for ultimates. I know Iron Men have tons of calculations for why their rates are there, and even those are all changing for Slayer and for Herblore. And farming on ultimate, well, it's different when you're grinding it and when you're doing it passively, and I really don't know what to say for these. So these I'm just going to be making estimations, and please take it as that and only that. The farming rank 1 is now Woo. It was Zect at 37 mil. And the Slayer rank 1 is Umemi, who is going to 200 mil. And the Herblore rank 1 is also Woo at 43 mil. If you're going to grind this, I can't imagine getting seeds through anything besides contracts would be a great idea. So I just kind of put on Tithe Farm. You can get 100k XP per hour. I think you can get up to 110k, but at 100k XP per hour it would be 1,869 hours. Slayer, I put about 50k XP per hour. Again, that's just an estimate, really hard to say, but that would be about 3,800 hours. And Herblore, if you were to do that as efficient as possible, I imagine you would do a lot of Herbivore and Master Farmer and farming contracts as well, and that would be between 25 and 50k XP per hour, which would take about 4,000 to 8,000 hours. And as of now, those are the only open 200 mils on an Ultimate Ironman. Tell me your thoughts. Which one would you be the most likely to go for if you had the time? Which one are you going to go for? Which one do you think has rates that I got wrong, and why do you think those rates are wrong? Tell me. I would love to hear it, and I would love to allow other people to see that in a comment. There's a lot of things that go into deciding these kind of things, and you know what, I'm not the ultimate authority on that. These are just my opinions, these are just my thoughts, and I thought it would be cool for you to know how hard or easy it might be to get each 200 mil in a permanent rank 1. Enjoy your search for permanent glory, and I hope you have a great time playing RuneScape.